Hi, my name is Kamal Rup Khan. I am a clinical hypnotherapist. Thank you so very much for your overwhelming response to my last video where I spoke about why we attract the wrong people in our lives. Amongst all the feedback and all the phone calls and all the messages that I received, thank you for that, by the way. The standard question I was asked was, how do we live from our higher self? So today I'm going to be touching on that topic in context with the universe and our relationship with the universe. So for example, if you can imagine a house that is wired with electricity and there are many lamps in that house of all different shapes and sizes, tall, short, colorful, etc. The lamp is as useful as the amount of electricity that it allows to pass through it and share its light. And that can only happen when the lamp is connected, plugged in. And that's the same thing with us. When we are plugged in to the universe and when we allow the universe to work through us, we allow our light to shine through, we are able to share our light. Now let me take this in context with creation. So when you have the egg and when you have the sperm and they merge to form an embryo, they just go with the flow of the universe. There is no question. The embryo does not say, I intend to be a baby. It's understood. The egg and the sperm merges with the intention to form a baby. So the universe works on intentionality. There is an intention for everything. There is a plan for everything. And while this merger happens, there are a lot of amazing things that are happening. New cells are forming and, they are collaborating with other cells, and then you have the brain that's formed, then you have the heart that's formed, then you have the spleen that forms, and then, after a lot of the collaboration that happens, you finally find a baby that's born. And all these cells are working for serving the purpose of the baby at large. And they're working in their highest level, in their highest version of themselves, in their best version of themselves. Now, what happens if one cell decides that, I refuse to collaborate, I refuse to be part of the spleen or the liver, I don't feel like it. What happens then? And imagine that it collects a few other cells and they form this little kingdom of rebels. What happens then? Disease, exactly. So there's a malignancy formed in the body because these cells are not self-actualized. They are not plugged in to the universe and they're not flowing with the flow of the universe as the intention of the universe or as planned. It is the same thing with relationships. When we talk of relationships, it is very important to first be connected to the universe, be self-actualized to the universe. Then you are able to collaborate with the people you want to have a relationship with for serving the larger good of the relationship, whatever the relationship may be. It could be a romantic relationship or it could be siblings or spouse or anybody. So when there is a point in a relationship where one person says, me, myself and I don't feel like this and I don't feel like that, what happens? You have disconnected, you have unplugged yourself from the universe. And therein lies the problem. And then we wonder why our relationships are failing. Now, the best way to be plugged in to the universe is through meditation and through other, whatever spiritual practices that you can, each one has different spiritual practices. So now, for example, imagine a baby. You have a baby. The baby's got a cut on her hand and she's howling and crying and she runs to her mother and, what does the mother do? The mother will, pacify the baby and, give the baby a hug and, kind of console the baby, and the baby just quietens down. So does the wound really go immediately? No. But it's the love energy of the mother that works. It's the energy of the mother that works on the child. Now imagine as in case of an adult, wounds don't come in the form of a cut. The wounds come in the form of maybe a personality defect or a character defect. And it's no less than that cut. And how do we behave then? We shun the person, we start getting judgmental, we start saying how obnoxious is this person, how rude is this person, how nasty is this person, I don't like this person. that's exactly what the person doesn't need. What the person needs is for you to send your love to the person, for you to return to love, because that you can do only when you are aligned to the universe and you are able to then, non-judgmentally, associate with that person. And when I say associate, I don't mean that you have to get into a relationship, you have to form a relationship, you have to get married to the person. You don't even have to like the person. But what you can do is be non-judgmental about it and say, okay, this person is going through something, be non-judgmental and send lots of love and light to that person. That is operating from your higher self. When we talk of spiritual conversations and when we relegate I am unique, I, me to a spiritual conversation, it's a mistake, because in a spiritual conversation, it's always about we and us. It's never about I and me. It's like that ocean, there are so many waves in the ocean. And if I think, when you say I and we, you're separating yourself from each other. Just, like waves can't be separated from the ocean. So imagine if I'm a wave and I say, okay, I'm going to be separate from the ocean. I'm going to be in one corner, separate, looking at this vast ocean. How can I not be terrified when I see the ocean? Because it's so vast. But if I realize that I am part of the ocean, in fact, I'm the freaking ocean, and the ocean is me. I move, the ocean moves. The ocean moves, I move. Once you realize that, you're part of something much more greater and much more grander. And therein lies your power. And everybody that you meet in your life, we all have our wounds. We've all had childhoods. We all have wounds. We all have hurts. And it's when we think in terms of we and ours that we realize, there's a sense of compassion, there's a sense of empathy that sets in. You're able to empathize with people, understand why they behave in a certain way, and obviously your reaction changes. And many times, there are times when you're never always operating from your higher self. There are times when you say things you shouldn't be saying, or you do things you shouldn't be doing, and that's fine, because you have another moment, you have another day, you have another hour, you have so much time. The next minute you can choose to make it right. You can atone, you can apologize. There are so many things you can do to make it right. So it's when you do these things that you're operating from your higher self. And how do you kind of maintain operating from your higher self? Like I said earlier, you maintain it by meditating or by following some spiritual practice. Just like, we exercise to discipline our bodies and, strengthen our bodies. You meditate to discipline your thoughts. I hope I have, answered a lot of your queries, and, I hope I've helped you understand how easy it is to operate from your higher self. I wish you all the best, and I hope that you will always be the best version of yourself, just like the universe intended for you to be. God bless.